But what a difference, eh? Look at that. It almost looks like an antique, but you and I know that it's not. Here's a lovely old chair in the Jacobean style. It's not actually Jacobean because Jacobean goes back to the 17th century and before that. But this probably came out of the 1930s in one of the many Jacobean revivals. Some of them were in the 1800s and some were in the 1900s, and we've even gone through recent ones. But here's a piece, I would say, from the 1930s in oak, which was always traditional with Jacobean furniture. Have a look in here. See how battered it is. It's a lovely chair, basically, but it's just battered. Now, I'm going to use dark oak Restorer finish in this instance. This is where you get into your darker colours, where they're really, really useful. Now, you watch how I transform that rather sad old shellac into something that looks as if it was shellacked recently, or maybe looks as if the shellac that's been on it for years has just been looked after, which is really the kind of look that we can achieve, and which is the look that I actually prefer. Now watch this. I rub it in, all the little finials and all around the place. And here where the shellac has worn away, I'm going to wear it away further. Just give it a good rubbing with the Restorer finish, so that it looks as if maybe people have been doing that with it. And it's quite legitimate to leave it like that. There you go. Now I just rub my Restorer finish down into these areas. Right across there, up there. See all the marks just disappearing? Look at this. Look how badly scratched that is. Bang. There you go, all the scratches. And over here. Look at that. Look at the grain coming out. Just like so. So easy, isn't it? Marvellous, and right down there. And seeing that the camera's on me, I may as well do the whole thing. I can do this whole chair, use less than $1 worth of Restorer finish, and make it look brilliant in about, what, 5 minutes? I could do this entire chair. I wonder how much it would cost you if you were going to do this, if you took it to a restorer. The restorer would probably take, what, 3 hours? $60 an hour? It adds up, doesn't it? This is going to cost me, I don't know, depends on how I price my time. A whole chair might cost me tops $10. Not bad, is it? Here you go. Now look, I'll just take my cloth, wipe it down. And actually, I can even use the Restorer finish on the old cane backing. Just put a bit of colour into that. Have a look at that. Eh? Makes a difference, doesn't it? My word, it does. Rub it in there. Because the old cane was shellacked as well, you know. So why wouldn't you use Restorer finish on it? Now, wipe it down. And there's a fine example of how you don't have to worry about colour. You see, the cane backing was lighter than the Jacobean wood, than the old oak wood, but it's come up lighter too. It remains lighter than the wood, even though I put the Restorer finish on it. So never think that a dark Restorer finish is going to alter stringing or inlay. It won't. It'll just look as it should, just like so. There you are. Looks lovely, doesn't it? And in here, well, that's just normal wear and tear. I'm going to briefly touch on Citra Shield, because having a good look at this chair, I'm a bit bothered with that lighter part. I shouldn't really be, but if I'm a bit fastidious, and you might be fastidious, you might say, no, I do want to cover that up. So here's what I can do. A stain won't do, and a dye won't do. You can't go and buy a dye and try to dye that wood. You'd just wreck it. And it's a hell of a job if you sand it all down and try to restain the whole piece of wood. Well, you're going to ruin the entire antique look of it. So you've got to be very careful about how you proceed at this point. This is how I proceed. Citra Shield. I choose dark oak. Dark oak. There it is there. And this is it. That's the wax on my hand. The perfect colour for Jacobean furniture. And what I do with this is I lay on the wax like so over that bleached area, and I let it dry. Now as I put it on, I'm putting it on very thick. I'm going to ask you to let it dry. It might take 2 or 3 hours. You let it dry rock hard. And then what you do is you come back in 2 or 3 hours time. So say you're doing this on the weekend. You'd do this before you go out to sports or to shopping, whatever you do on a Saturday. And you come back at lunchtime and I'm going to ask you to put another coat on, over the coat that's already there. Don't buff it off. So you put that second coat on, over the top. So now we've got 2 coats of the wax on, okay? And then you go off and enjoy your afternoon. And you come back later on in the evening, say, you know, 4, 5 o'clock, whenever your Saturday comes to an end, as far as, you know, the day's activities are concerned, and you put a 3rd coat down. Just put that on, like so. And now you go out, go to the theatre, go to the pictures, whatever you do, you go to bed, and in the morning, on Sunday morning, say, 10 or 11 o'clock, you come back, and with a cloth, you start to polish the 3 coats that have dried hard overnight on your furniture. And you polish them. I've had another look at it, and I'm going to actually leave this to dry while I go on and do something else, and we'll actually see what it does look like. So look, here it is. I'm putting that on like so. Now if I get on and show you some other things, we'll see how that looks when we come back to it. Okay? Well, here you are. This is the citrus shield we were talking about, and here's the chair. It's about 3 hours later, so it's looking pretty good, isn't it? It's now covered that pale patch at the top. And if I had spent more time with it and waited even longer and put more coats on it, it would look perfect. I could make it look perfect. But right now, it looks pretty good. In fact, it's very acceptable. And if you want to ever talk to me about the process of how you put these 3 coats of wax down, well, I'm always available on our email. So there it is.